shortly before his death. In Parshas Matos, Hashem instructs Moshe to take the Jewish people to war. And the purpose of the war was to take revenge on the nation of Midian. Midian, as we remember from last week's Parsha and the previous week's Parsha, Midian caused a tremendous plague calamity among the Jewish people. 24,000 Jews were killed. And the reason was because they convinced their women to seduce the Jewish men to worship Avodah Zarah, to worship the idol of Baal Peor. And as a result, so many Jews died until Pinchas ended up ending the plague. So Hashem instructs Moshe, have the Jewish people go and take revenge. And so Moshe assigns quite a few troops from each tribe, and they go out to do battle. When they return, Moshe sees that the women are left alive. And Moshe becomes angry. The pasuk says, "Vayiktzov Moshe became angry al pkudei achayil," and he says, "I don't understand. The whole purpose here was to take revenge. The people who caused this terrible plague, which ended up killing so many Jews, these people should have been the ones who were killed. Why weren't they?" And immediately afterwards, the Torah instructs us of the laws of how one koshers, how one kosherizes vessels that were used from non-kosher. Here, the Bnei Yisrael, the Jewish people, bring back, among the booty, they bring back all kinds of vessels from Midian. And so they are instructed how to kosherize all of those vessels. And to this day, we learn the laws of kosherizing, koshering vessels from this parsha. But this parsha is taught to us by Elazar and not by Moshe. And why is that the case? Rav Chaim Shmulevitz, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, the late Rosh Yeshiva of the Mir Yeshiva, explains that Moshe lost something here in a moment. And that's based, of course, on the Gemara and Psachim that tells us that when a person becomes angry, if they are a chacham, their chachma, if they're wise, their wisdom leaves them. And Moshe, because he became angry, his wisdom left him for a moment, so Elazar had to teach the people about the laws of koshering. And so Rav Chaim Shmulevitz points out that, wait, but Moshe should have gotten angry. Moshe had good reason to get angry. And yet, nevertheless, what does this teach us about kas? What does it teach us about anger? Says Rav Chaim Shmulevitz that even when we have good reason to be angry, even when we can explain why we are angry, we can't fool ourselves to think that anger doesn't have a consequence. And we learn that from Moshe, that even though Moshe had good reason to be angry at the leaders, at the generals in this case, but nevertheless, because of that, the result of his anger was that some of his wisdom was lost for the moment, and that he didn't remember the laws of koshering, and as a result, Elazar was the one who instructed the Jewish people as to how to kosher all the vessels. And so Rav Chaim Shmulevitz tells us that when it comes to kas, when it comes to anger, it is such a difficult midah, such a difficult character trait, that we need to try to shy away as much as we can from it. And that even though one could explain afterwards why they were angry, and even though there are times that it makes sense to be angry, we could never forget that ultimately anger has a consequence which is not a positive one. And it is best for us to shy away as much as we can from becoming angry so that we don't suffer a consequence as a result. Wishing everyone a good Shabbos.